everyone. Welcome to the Website Investing Show. So we are your new hosts. I'm Lianne, and then we've got Lois here as well. How are you doing, Lois?
Hello. I am good.
I'm good.
How are you doing?
Bear with us because this is our first one, so we're both a little bit nervous, and we're both also hoping that we don't have any technical difficulties. So fingers and toes crossed that this all goes smoothly. So let's have a look who we've got. So we've got Luke, who is manning the chat today. Thank you, Luke. We've got Brian here for some support. We've got Daniel Croft in the chat, Caitlin, Jordan, and Dave. So thank you all for joining us. Please don't forget to hit like. It really, really helps.
Yeah.
And we've hopefully got an interesting stream for you today. So as many people will know, yesterday was International Women's Day. And it's part of the kind of movement for women's rights. So it shines a light on issues such as gender equality, violence and abuse against women, and also reproductive rights as well. So, you know, it's a day that is celebrated all over the world. So we thought, what better to do than today have our stream focus on women in SEO. So that is what we are going to do. So we're going to start off by chatting a little bit about our experience as women in digital marketing. We've got some slides to show you, and then we've got a lovely guest, Chelsea Clarke, to bring onto the show as well. And then, of course, we've got some teardowns at the end, which Lois will run you through. So shall I start, Lois, chatting about, my experience?
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay, cool. So I started in SEO, I think 2010, maybe 2009. I can't even remember now. And I kind of landed in senior positions naturally as I joined the industry. So I was actually really fortunate. Like, looking back, I was lucky that that was the position that I started in the industry in. But back then it was quite uncommon to see women in similar positions to myself. So, you know, in my first few roles, my first role in particular, I was it was my second role technically. I try not to think about the first one. But I was the only woman in any sort of senior position. And interestingly, like, when I look back and think about the client base as well, so I was dealing with customers primarily just over the UK and a lot of customers in Wales, and various types of organizations, from, you know, small startups to much bigger organizations as well. And there were very, very few women who were in those kind of senior marketing positions that we were liaising with day to day as well. But I never really realized back then. It was just, I knew it was a male dominated industry, but it was just normal, which is kind of sad, really. But I think it definitely has changed over the years. I mean, 13, 14 years, whatever it is, it has definitely changed. And, you know, I feel very proud to see a lot more women now in higher positions in the industry. But I think there is still a lot more to be done. I've definitely come up against some situations being a woman in digital marketing, as I'm sure many of us have. You know, I've had to really stand my ground with men in certain positions. I remember one customer in particular in one of my first jobs, and he was this will tell you everything, really. He was a car salesman, had a car sales business, and we went to see him, and it was me and two other guys who were on my team, and he was not up to date with SEO at all. And obviously we were trying to make recommendations that would be beneficial to his business, but he was challenging us on everything. And I had to pretty much go toe to toe with him in the end, just to get him to listen and be really, really like quite firm with him. And I was only like early 20s. And I remember he said to me at the end, we stood up and he like clapped my hand and went, "Good job, love, good job." It's like,
oh no.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Love working with you. And then there've been other guys like that, because I'm a woman, and, you know, I've done a lot of technical SEO. I'm not the best technical SEO because my brain is very creative and I come from a content-led background. But I've done a lot of technical SEO and made loads of recommendations in my career as well. But again, because it's coming from a woman, I've often been faced with a lot of questioning and doubts, whereas one of my male colleagues can say the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, great, thanks, great idea, thank you.
Yeah, I just think it's just, there is so much that still needs to be done, and like it is changing very slowly, but it is changing. But I mean, I feel like just in all aspects of life, you are just gonna get people who just look down on you purely because you are a woman, and that mentality, I think, from my generation, is just like we've had enough, we are just not dealing with it type thing. So I think this is why, to me, and like other people, other young girls in the industry and stuff, like a day like International Women's Day is so important, and it should be looked at as an important day, by industry leaders, or just the men in general, to kind of actually respect the day and be like, okay, right, this is important, this actually does need to be looked at and stuff. And I think it is changing, it's not all doom and gloom and stuff, but it is just very interesting to see what has happened within like the past 13 years, say, because I mean, like I've been in the industry 4 years now, and
you came from a slightly different background to me as well, didn't you? So
so I came from an e-commerce background, and previous men who I've worked with have just not really been great at all, really. I mean, I could go on, but I'm just not gonna like publicly out people, but just the attitudes they had, it was just, and because they were a lot older than me and stuff, they just talked down on me, didn't think I knew what I was doing, all that type of stuff. And I think I've worked hard to where I get to where I am today, and there's still so much more stuff that I need to learn. And, like I'm not like stupid, like I know that, but I think this is where I am really lucky within niche, because I do actually feel, as a woman, I have I started as a team member, so I've sort of worked my way up to where I am now, which is amazing. And I do actually feel heard by the men in this company, and I do actually think that they really, really value especially what you say, Lianne, so it's good. It's a nice change. Like, it's just a breath of fresh air, I think, and it's just something that just, that breath of fresh air just needs to be a bit broader, I think, doesn't it? So
what about so I think part of your employment history with marketing was also like a sales element, was that right?
Yeah.
So I imagine that came with similar challenges.
Yes, it did. Yeah, I was an account manager for the e-commerce platforms. Again, I had a man who was my boss. I was never ever thought of as a manager, even though that's what my role was. But they were a very traditional company, so their sales were very much through, on the phone, face to face. They didn't really think of e-commerce as a place where they could make some money, where they could make some sales. So looking back, I was only there for 6 months, and it just it wasn't for me. We just weren't really the same when it came to sales. I went in there with a completely different mindset of where I actually was. Because of my previous role, I was in e-commerce, and like our sales were purely online, so it was a bit of a different thing. But again, there was no progression for me there. Again, there was a male dominant, hierarchy there. So it's been a challenge, but I think I'm strong-willed, I'm strong-minded, I think so. That's really helped me, in certain situations and stuff, and to get myself out of something and things. So, but not a lot of women are like that. A lot of women will think, oh no, because he's my boss or wherever, or something like that. Like they think, you have to respect it and stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I understand that to an extent, but at the same time, is it respect? No, So yeah, it's such it's a difficult conversation, but it's definitely one that women should be having. you know.
Yeah.
So
I think you summed it up there really, that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned in this industry as a woman is you have to stand your ground, especially if you want to progress, because otherwise you will get looked over. So yeah, it's a hard lesson to learn.
Yep. Yeah.
Right, so we've got some slides to pull up. So we've gathered some data on, kind of the split in the industry that we wanted to share with you. So hopefully, yay, this works.
Yay!
So yes, we've just got some data on kind of the gender split and pay within digital. So over to you, Lois.
Yeah, so obviously, as you can see here, there is still a huge split going on, really. I mean, it has changed over the years, but obviously it hasn't changed enough because there is still a split and a divide in gender in SEO and digital marketing. I mean, a really, really interesting stats to see here, actually, as you can see on my left on the screen. How big is the gender gap in SEO? I mean, 68% of that is men. You know, I think that just says it all. And a small percent of 29% is women. Obviously, the 2% not to say, and then 0.2 is non-binary. I mean, do I need to say any more? No, I really, really don't. And then on the right here, which is very interesting to see. Well, to be honest, when I saw this stat, I was like, this cannot be right. So I did some digging and I checked. It is right. It's up to date. It's a really, really sad graph to actually look at. But again, I mean, I just think we need to try and take some positive from that, you know. And apparently, well, when I was actually doing my research, it was actually scientifically proven that women are better at SEM than men, just by the way you think. Which I was like, well, there's no surprise there. Obviously we are. So I think, again, it's just, yeah, it's such a shame to see, but hopefully, you know, with all the amazing women that are out there who are in this industry, you know, you can definitely take this with our stride and say, no, we're changing it. And, you know, slowly we are.
But what is that? I haven't got my glasses on. What is that figure for the UK? 24?
It's
24,
24.7%.
Yeah. That's quite shocking, actually. The African split really surprises me because I know that it's a very male-centric country, and there's lots of rules and regulations for women, and lots of male-dominated areas of life over there. So that has really shocked me.
It is really shocking. I mean, yeah, it's such a shocking graph, and I was looking at this for about 10 minutes, thinking like, wow, this is actually true, but. I mean, I honestly would have thought it would have been the complete opposite way. I really thought that the UK, you know, Australia, America, that, you know, the States would be top there. So that is a really, really eye-opening stat to be seeing, I think. So
Hannah's got a really interesting question. So she said, do you think that the reason women are often better at it is because we have to work harder to get to the same positions as men? I think a certain aspect that I think, you know, naturally we I think men are more, I don't know which way it goes, the left brain or the right brain, and I know we usually fall on the more emotional, creative side, but I think we are naturally very analytical. We overthink things, which can be helpful in some respects, but yeah, I've definitely had to work exceptionally harder than some of my male counterparts to get to where I am.
I'm the exact same. It is. I do think that definitely plays a part in it, which is sad. But okay, so another one. I mean, this one is a bit more of a positive one because it shows what the divide between male and female in SEO, but within the role that they have. So obviously marketing manager, digital marketing exec. That is a much nicer graph to be looking at. As you can see, there's a lot of female domination in there, which is absolutely amazing. It's so good to see. But you know, it at the bottom bullet point does specify that men are outnumbered by 2 to 1.
Outnumber us by 2 to 1, you mean?
Yes. Yes. But so yeah, it's just, you know, it's changing. So it's really, really good to actually keep an eye on these stats, I think. I mean, to me, when I was looking at this, it made me angry, made me upset. But then I was like, no, okay, like this is like this changing. It's amazing. So I think the one thing I would say is if you know, you are watching and you are in an SEO or a digital marketing industry, you know, and you are a woman, please don't let this worry you or anything like that, because, you know, like, it's such a fab industry to be in. And obviously, you know, like, we women are hard workers, you know, and we know what we want and we will get it. So I just think it's, you know, some of these are not okay, and I completely understand that. But I mean, they are going to change, and who's going to be changing them? Us. So, you know. Yeah. Again, another gender gap in SEO publishing. These, again, really shocked me. I personally, HRS right at the bottom, because we use this day in, day out. So number of authors, 17 men, 10 women. I was like, which, yeah, I was upset about, but I mean, I don't work at HRS, I don't own HRS, so, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, again, really, really interesting to see the amount of women. Yeah, I mean, SEMrush, we have 42 and 38, you know, articles written by male and female, you know. So like I say, it is changing, it's gradually there. But
the Moz one, I'm not surprised at, because I used to regularly watch their Whiteboard Fridays, yes. And I did notice that it started off where it would just be Rand, you know, he would do it every single week, and then they started introducing other members of the team, and there were a lot of women that were taking those, which I used to love. So it's great to see that split with Moz. Yes. We've got a lovely supportive comment from, I think this is probably Adam. Hey ladies, enjoy both for being strong women in our industry and everyone else watching. So that's a really lovely shout out there.
Thank you.
And then we have Naomi, who's saying, as a woman in business, I used to find myself skirting around the point when delegating work. My emails contain a lot of, if that's okay, if possible, if you get a chance. Do you know what? She's so right.
So
you know,
true.
You have to like play it down when asking for that support, which shouldn't be the case at all, you know?
No, I know that's so, like, I say this, I do that all the time, and I know you, Lianne, you do it as well. So it's just like, it's just, it's habit, isn't it? But I mean, okay, again, the pay gap. So this is US and UK in particular. As you can see, us females are, you know, we aren't apparently on as much as males. Are we surprised? No. Are we upset? Yes. I mean, you know, as it says up there too, the Marketing Week 2020 Career and Salary Survey provides significant data. You can, if you want, guys, you know, you can make a note of these sources as well. Really, really good info, informational articles to be looking at. As you can see, 20%. Full-time employees, the gap is 28%. Obviously, women in managerial positions earn around 11% less than male colleagues.
What's devastating is actually, you know, this is a fairly recent survey, and I know there have been big pushes in recent years to make sure that the gender pay gap is addressed. But if we went back, say, 10 years, I think this would have been quite shocking to see.
Yes, I think so.
So Adam's got an interesting point about what I said with Moz. So he said that he's quite sure that Rand ran the business with his mother, or that she was a big influence. So I wonder if that had an impact, which it probably did.
I would think so. That. Yeah, that's awesome.
So the good news is that we're not like that at Niche.
It is good news,
yeah. And Lois and I can both attest to that. I came in at a senior level and have continued to be promoted throughout the business. Lois came in as a team member and has been promoted throughout the business as well. And when we look at our UK staff as a whole, 59.3% of our colleagues are actually women, which is awesome. And then we got Adam to do some digging into the salaries paid last month, and 57.79% of the salaries paid last month were actually to female colleagues as well. So we have a very even balance here. And I can hand on heart say that, we promote people based on their skills. We hire people based on their skills, and we pay people, based on that rather than, what their gender is, which is the way it should be.
Yep, agreed.
So we also wanted to take this opportunity to big up some women in the industry and do some shout outs. So I hope everybody's got their LinkedIns and their Twitters open to start following some of these wonderful women. So the first lady that I wanted to give a shout out to is Arij Abu Ali. And she's actually the founder of Crawlina, but also Women in Tech SEO, which is a fantastic community. They've got a website, they've got a Discord channel, and she recently, I think this week, she ran the Women in SEO event as well. So she's very pivotal here in the UK, and I think it's more of a global reach now as well of pushing women forward and supporting one another. And I think that's the key thing here is supporting each other and holding each other up in the industry. And she's been very much a front runner in doing that. Then we have Aleda Solis, who's an international SEO consultant. I actually saw her speak a couple of years ago in an event in London, and she was phenomenal. Like, her technical SEO expertise is second to none. So definitely give her a shout out. We've got Sarah Tamsin. She's a web development and technical SEO expert. And then she's also a digital growth coach and a content creator as well. And I believe she's more local as well.
Bristol, I think.
Yeah, so nice local shout out.
Yeah.
We've got Zoe Ashbridge, who is a senior SEO strategist and co-founder at 4Rank. Pam, who is the president and co-founder of her self-named company, Pam and Marketing, and Andrea Barnhill, who is the co-founder and director of ops at Socratic SEO agency. Oh, there we go. We've got big up.
Ponty. Oh,
yeah, we've got big up from Adam for Sarah, who is in Pontypridd.
Well, still killing it. We love to
with
see that.
My horrendous Welsh accent. And then we have some more wonderful women. So we've got Shauna Newman, who lots of our viewers will be familiar with. Shauna. She's appeared on several of our live streams and podcasts, and we've worked very closely with her as well. So she's very well known in the affiliate marketing space. Aisha Priest. So she was actually, she came to us as a customer, and she was already making waves in the industry, and she's gone on to do amazing things since then as well. And then finally, and last but definitely not least, is Chelsea, who is the founder of Niche Investor and HerPaperRoute Inc. So that is our segue to welcome Chelsea onto the live stream.
Hello.
Hi, Chelsea. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Really good. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so cool, and I feel so honored to get to be a part of this conversation.
Oh, that's amazing. We're so glad to have you. And, we really wanted to be able to get somebody on so we could, just get it from someone who's, in the industry day to day like us and find out how you're dealing with things, I suppose.
It's been time.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I pressed a button accidentally. I didn't know that would happen.
I've never used this tech before, the rest stream. This is new. So when I popped on, I was like, am I live? Am I not? I don't know. I'm having a hard
confusion. I actually just slipped and hit the space bar. Don't do that.
We are full learning.
So do you want to give us a little bit of background on yourself and, for anyone who isn't familiar with you and how you came into this industry to begin with?
Yeah, happy to. Well, I have been a blogger for gosh, ever since high school, way back in the day. I mean, I was blogging on Tumblr and
Nice.
looking at it as a hobby for way too long. And then after university, I mean, I went to school for digital marketing. I went into corporate marketing and events planning, and I was running the blogs for these big corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And yet still just running my own as a hobby and not making that connection. And then when so something finally clicked, I was like, I could just do this for myself, and I could build niche sites, build and sell them, flip them, in 6 months to a year. That's when everything kind of changed. And I left the corporate game and I started my own brokerage and my own blog, really, to share the growth strategies and SEO and content marketing and all these things that I love that were my hobby. And then I could put a dollar sign on it, and then so that's when it really, everything kind of opened up, and I started to take my blog more seriously as a business. And it's really just grown from there. So it's really cool to get to be a part of a conversation like this, because I mean, we see this. We work with female content creators, moms, new bloggers, people who are just getting into buying and selling websites. And as my company has grown now, we have an all-female team, which wasn't intentional, but it did work out that way. That it's been really cool to see a shift I've seen in the last year, even 2 years, where now more women are buying sites, more women are getting into content marketing. And this is just something that I think is really exciting. And so yeah, happy to chat about this.
Amazing. So have you found that there have been any challenges, for you as a woman in the industry? I suppose it would be more relevant for when you're working in corporate rather than when you're, doing your own thing. But have you come across any particular challenges?
Absolutely. And it's like what you ladies were talking about before I came on. It's that same sort of thing. It's that the voice in the market, really. It's, you go out into, let's say, for example, a Facebook group in a community where you want to chat about SEO or chat about site growth and really sort of bond with people and get to know people. And the conversations that often happen in those groups, it's men talking to other men, and women really aren't included in the conversation. Or you want to watch someone's webinar, and every time they make an example of a successful person in the webinar, it's always male. So I always want to encourage people, if you're creating a webinar or you're speaking or you're doing something, when you could be using an example from someone like Gary Vee or another successful male, what if you instead quoted someone like Barbara Corcoran, right? Or Sarah Blakely, another female CEO. Or something that we always see a lot too is people want to quote athletes like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, who they're all great. But what about quoting someone like Serena Williams or someone else like that? Like, that just could really get those voices out. And it really shows people who are watching that there are women, there are successful creators, there are other voices, and just including them in the conversation. So that's something that I've tried to do. But as a challenge, it's really that being met with something I could say, or one of my colleagues who's female says, when it's just repurposed and resaid by a man, people want to hear it. People are there for it. They want to trust that guy. And it's part too. There's so much, we could go way into the patriarchy. We don't need to do that. But it even comes down to just how we look, how we sound. I mean, I'm backed up against the fact that I have a Canadian accent and I have influx, and everything I say is like a question. So that even can kind of sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, even when I'm saying the exact same thing that someone else just said or is about to say, So that's something we're always met with. But I think that if we can even use that to our advantage, laugh about it, put it into our messaging, and kind of take those challenges and put them back on, what we're talking about, that's something that I think has really worked for my brand in a way. And all challenges, they're just, they're things that need to be sorted out. And sometimes it's so deep that it's not going to get resolved. But if we can use it to our advantage, and I'll give you one example of how I'm doing that, and I'm playing the game, is I have, as I said, I have an all-female team. Some of my sites that I create, I'll just create a male avatar for the person that's going to be the one answering the customer service emails, the refund requests, things like that. Tom, he doesn't exist, but he has an AI avatar on the email, and he's there to, let people know, put down the law if they have a problem. It's really, me, but
So interesting.
Yeah, people respect Tom. So, play the game how you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what's interesting as well? On the flip side of that, so obviously we do link building here at Niche Website Builders, and we found that when we do outreach, we have a greater success when the person outreaching is female. Again, often an avatar, doesn't have to be an actual female. We've got confused people sitting behind us not knowing who they are, but we get much greater success and a better response rate when it's a female that's outreaching, which is just wild.
I love that.
I wanted to pick up on something you said there as well, which was about the examples given that are often male and that kind of thing. And I think that's part of the problem, is the rhetoric around digital is male orientated. The examples being given are male, and the people that are held up in high regard are often men, and they have great achievements, but there are a lot of women that have equally great achievements as well. So I think part of the problem is not only the people working within the industry, but the overall kind of discussion around it as well, as you said, and that probably puts off a lot of women stepping into the industry, because they see that it's just men that are being kind of held up as having these successes, which could be quite off-putting.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's a shame, but the more we can do to shout out to other women, the better.
Well, something like this, what you're doing here, this is amazing. This is what the voices that need to be heard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
And on that kind of thread, with more women coming in the industry, what else do you think could be done to encourage women into digital, and then also to empower them to push forward and actually, progress their careers?
I think community is the biggest thing. So anyone who's watching this, and maybe you're starting your business from your couch, you want to be able to do something from home, or so you can stay home with your kids, whatever your reasons are, it absolutely can be done. But if you feel like it's totally new and you don't see anyone else doing it, it's going to be really hard. So joining the communities, like I say, Facebook groups, you can find people on Quora, you can go to blogs that you read and look in the comments. You can find people who are doing this and just, get in with them, befriend them, send them an email, start hanging out in the places that they go to the virtual summits, watch the virtual summits that are for female creators, attend women in business events if you can. Just really immerse yourself and build your community. And that's going to be something that's going to just take you through, because there's so many waves in business, up and down, and there's certainly an emotional side of it that doesn't get talked about a lot. So if you are able to build your community and make friends and support each other, that's going to help you so much to be able to reach the successes, because you're going to see what someone else is literally you're going through, they've gone through it, what they did, you can try what they did to figure it out. And having that is huge.
I think that's the one amazing thing about affiliate marketing. There is a big community in just SEO in general, but there is such a really helpful and supportive community within affiliate marketing itself. And I think the more that women within this industry can support each other, the better. There's a comment that has caught my eye from Karis. So Karis is our keyword research manager, but she was on the link building team previously. And she's saying that she got asked on so many dates while using an AI-generated lady while link building. Problematic. Yeah, problematic indeed.
Wow.
She reached out for a link and asked on... Yeah, okay.
Crazy. There's some crazy men out there.
I know. So, Chelsea, you dropped a couple of names there, and they've already slipped my mind. Do you want to give a shout out to some influential women in digital, in business, that you think that we should all be following?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I would say some people that jump right into my mind right away. And you actually mentioned Aisha Priest. Love her. I mentored her last year, and she is just incredible.
Oh.
She already had the SEO thing unlocked. That's not my responsibility. Like, she already had that. But yeah, she's an amazing creator. And I had mentioned like Barbara Corcoran. She's from Shark Tank. She's just so funny. So if you want to laugh at all of life's business ridiculous things, follow her on Instagram Instagram and TikTok. She's just hilarious. And I would say too, like if you get into the blogging groups, there's people like Jenna Kutcher, who has the Gold Digger podcast. She's really interesting to watch and follow because she is so vulnerable in her messaging. She wears her heart on her sleeve, and she shares like the personal things that you wouldn't expect someone with a big platform like that to be sharing. It's very interesting how she weaves her personal story and struggles into her actual business messaging. And the biggest thing too, I would say, is when you start following those people, follow their followers and get onto their email lists, because the best way to learn how to be a successful digital marketer is to watch how other digital marketers sell in their emails. So personally, I'm subscribed to hundreds and hundreds of emails. I have a special email address just for it, because otherwise I would be bombarded. But I literally do take some time each week to sit down and just skim through the marketing messages that have come through about different things people are selling, their webinars, their coaching programs, their courses, and just immersing yourself in how different creators, especially female creators, sell is just incredible knowledge. And it's free. You get it delivered right to your inbox.
Amazing. Thank you. So Adam is running off. I think he's got a few interviews to do. So he's just saying nice to see you again, Chelsea.
Nice to see you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. Perfect. Okay. And then I suppose to round off, what are you working on at the moment, Chelsea? Like, do you want to do any shout outs on your personal projects? What's keeping you busy?
Currently, I'm just really focused on my affiliate sites. I'm just updating everything, improving the content, and just focusing on writing. Really, that's the biggest thing. And then over at the Niche Investor Marketplace, the really cool thing is we've seen in the last year, 70% of our buyers and sellers there are women. So that's something that I really want to stress. And I'm so excited about that, is just having that platform where women can feel confident to make deals, right? To make offers, to negotiate, to get into that world that would be considered a male dominated world, and just feel confident to throw out some money and, wheel and deal and talk numbers with people. So that's something that we're focused on there, is we're just building out that platform. And then over at HerPaperRoute, as I say, like working on writing, my affiliate sites, and really trying to do more video content. So anyone who's watching that's trying to get video content going, I know the struggle. It takes so much time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, honestly, but it's so worth it. And that's really where content marketing, I feel, has been going, is just going to continue going. So written content is always so important, but turning that into video, that's my focus.
Amazing. Sounds like you've got a lot of plates spinning, but it all sounds really, really exciting. So if anyone in the chat isn't following Chelsea, go and give her a follow, check her out, see what she's up to. Has my internet frozen? Oh no, I'm back.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So we are just going to see if there are any questions in the chat. So we've got Carl is saying that it's great to see this topic being talked about. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, hey,
appreciate
Carl. I know Carl.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
And we appreciate your support as well on that, Carl. And I don't think there's anything else. I think I caught all of the other comments as they were coming through. So thank you so much for your time, Chelsea. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, and I'm super excited about what you're achieving as well. So
thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. I really appreciate getting this invite, and thank you everybody for watching and hanging out with us.
Thank you so much. So we are going to move on to some expired domains. So we'll let you go back to your day, Chelsea.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Okay, over to you, Lois, with some expired domains.
Sorry, guys. I'm really dark at the moment. Sorry, I don't know.
That's okay. I mean, we've had all sorts of weather in the UK this week, so I'm not surprised you haven't got much light.
Yeah, and my light is like over the other side of the room, so you won't see. You can just pay attention to the screen anyway. Good, guys. Right. Okay. So, two very different but very interesting domains I'm going to be tearing down today. So the first one is horticulture fashion. It is 9 years old, is in the fashion and travel industry. It has 250 referring domains, and it has a DR of 27. As you can see here, another competitor that I'm going to go into in a sec. So let me just share my screen, guys. Let's hope this all goes well. Because if it doesn't, I'm going to be sad.
No, there we go. I've clicked the toggle. You're good to go.
Cool. Okay, so can everyone see my screen? Are we all good?
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is a hot culture fashion. It is in the travel and fashion niche. Really, really cool domain, actually. So this domain was created by a woman called Donna. She specialized in textile tours all over the world, which is absolutely incredible. She went to loads and loads of different destinations. So she went to Vietnam, Mexico, Thailand, loads and loads of different places during this time. So this domain really just focused on those tours, those cultures, learning about different type of traditional dress, learning how to make those traditional dresses, and really, really cool stuff on here. So I'll take you to the referring domains. So really, really nice referring domains here. So I mean, we have Oprah Daily 83, really authoritative site here. Open Culture again, 80 with a DR of 81. Latin Times 71 again, really, really relevant, as she did travel to so many different places with her textile tours. So really, really nice backlinks to be starting with. And then looking at the anchors again, this is really nothing to worry about at all. So if you do see an age domain with something like this, really, really nothing to worry about, completely natural with an age domain. As you can see here, we have lovely branded anchor text right at the top, all going down to different keyword anchors, naked anchors, all lovely stuff on here. And we have our Best By links. So what we are looking at here, we are looking at the home pages being the top target pages. This just reassures us that nothing suspicious has been going on with their link building historically or anything like that. So it's exactly what we are looking for. And then we're also looking for if there's any type of pages or wherever that we can redirect in any way. There are some here, definitely with the 6 referring domains, 5, 4, 3. So there's definitely some of these pages we'll be looking into to redirect on this site. So I'm just going to go over the strategy with you guys when it loads. So again, lots of stuff to be covering with in this age domain. Oh, that is not the strategy with there, guys. Sorry. What is going on? Sorry, guys. I've had an absolute nightmare with these tabs today. Even in my meeting earlier, I had to have loads of tabs open, and they're just not loading. So very typical when it's just me and Lianne on here for the first time. But
it's all good. Don't worry.
It's fine. It's fine. Right. I'm just going to load up our website. If it will load, and then I will just take you down to the strategy on here. Because it is live on our website, guys. You can purchase this domain if this is what you fancy. So, as I mentioned, is in the fashion and travel niche. It is a competitive niche, but again, we really do have a unique selling point here with the textiles tours. So our strategy is going to be covering listicle types of content around cultural clothing, loads of different cultures we could be going into for this. Informational pieces of content, on tribes around the world, their history, their attire, what they wear, why they wear it, all stuff like that. Listicle types of content around different types of fabric and why they are used within these cultures and on this clothing. Informational pieces of content around traditional cultured dress, content around tribal fashion, and symbolism of the cultural costume. So really, really fun content that could definitely be incorporated within this age domain.
I love this because it's so different to any kind of
Yeah.
fashion or travel sites that we've kind of had before. You know, I love the, you know, the traditional dress element and the cultural element of this. I think it'll be super cool.
Honestly, this is brilliant. And I mean, I'm going to really envy the writers that have to write about all stuff like this, because I just think it's just like you will learn. Yes, you will learn so much information and stuff about all these different types of cultures, you know, all around the world and things. So definitely a really good age domain that we've picked up. So we do have some competitors I'm going to show you today, guys. We have wanderlush.org with a DR of 59 and some load-in organic traffic. Great. Okay, so this is what this is their organic traffic right here. So again, I mean, absolutely incredible traffic these guys are getting. And these are covering.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, suspense.
This is not the one. It's
no,
not.
No, I would like to say that HS was actually having technical difficulties before we came on this stream, so please bear with me. Right, awesome. So this is what these guys are covering. I mean, right here, different cultural foods. I know that's something that we could potentially look into after looking at all the different type of cultural dress and all things like that. You know, all loads of different stuff. You know, even just generic travel things. Villages in Spain, you know, season in Georgia, lots of different informative keywords on this one. So we'll go to the next one. Again,
and we wait again.
Loads. Yes. So we have Asian Wanderlust. This site was predominantly just about traveling around Asia, you know, those different enjoying and embracing those cultures and stuff like that, which obviously is a really competitor to be looking into, as this is what Donna did with her site too. DR52, 45.7k with organic traffic. Again, really, really awesome competitor, and as well really shows the potential and the opportunity that hot fashion culture does have. And we'll wait for this one.
Jolie's just added a great point. Fashion has such a rich history, and you can really delve into it forever if you wanted to, especially garment construction. The garment construction, that's really interesting thought, actually.
Yes, like, yeah, it's so true. It's really, really interesting niche. Again, lots and lots of different stuff here. There's also commercial stuff. I mean, it's in the travel niche. You are going to be seeing this type of stuff. But again, really relevant and really good competitor to look into. And then we have our third one for this age domain. So we have Spend Life Traveling, DR58. Again, higher than us, but shows exactly what type of success that this domain could definitely have. We have 52k of organic traffic for this one. And again, really, really nice top keywords for this too. So yeah, there is so much stuff that we could be talking about within this domain. So yeah, if that is something that you guys would look into or whatever, it is on our site, so you can go in and look at that whenever you like.
Fab.
There we go. And then I do have another one as well. Oh, I'm so dark. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay. It just looks like you're in a cave.
I pretty much am. I'm in Wales, so, you know, it's fine. Pretty much
a cave somewhere in Wales.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So we have very, very different one. I really like this domain, but I am a complete history geek, so that is probably why.
Me too.
So this is the Falstead House. It is in the historic tours niche. It is 10 years old, has 76 referring domains, and a DR of 14. So let me get this one up for you guys. Let's hope this plays ball for us now. Let's just get that loaded. Okie doke. Cool. Right. So, okay. So.
Oh, that's me. Yeah,
yes.
There we go.
Oh. Can you see me?
We can see you.
Perfect. Okay. So, there was a lovely picture of the house, guys. Obviously, it's not loading. But so this is the Andrew J. Volstead House Museum. For those who do not know who this guy is, he brought in the Prohibition back in the 1920s. And this house museum is where him and his family lived during that time. So really, really cool domain. So this just gave tourists information about different type of events and tours they were doing, the history of the house. Nellie Volstead is his wife. Again, she's really, really interesting. I'll go into her a little bit more later. Again, yeah, it's a historic landmark, one of 25 in Minnesota. So really, really different domain to what we usually look at. But again, I do really think that there's some potential for this one. So let's go to the referring domains. So again, really, really nice and strong backlink to be starting with. Star Tribute. This is a Minnesotan news site. Explore Minnesota. Again, it's a national landmark. This is the type of backlink that we are wanting to be seeing. Loads of different stuff to be looking at, and really, really relevant as well. And then we have our anchors. Again, we're seeing some branded anchor text right at the top here, exactly what we're looking for. We have the name of the house. Again, this is fine. Fun. They did actually offer an escape room in the kitchen in 2019 and 2018, which I thought was an absolutely awesome idea. So yeah, that's why that is there. Nothing suspicious or unnatural to be looking at on this anchor. So really, really nice to be starting with. And then we have our Best Buy links. Again, right at the top here, the homepage, the escape room obviously was really popular. And then the rest here. We probably may not be redirecting any of these just because there's not that many. And obviously the homepage is a lot of the Best Buy links for this one. So the strategy for this one, if this one loads for me, we'll see. Okay, so as I did mention, is in the historic tours niche, but because it has so much history behind this house and who lived in this house and where this house is, there's so much content that we could be diving into for this. So we could do the history of the alcohol prohibition and why it ultimately failed. Who is Andrew J. Volstead? Who is Nellie? The history of the house museum, the history of the alcohol prohibition, specifically in Minnesota, historic landmarks in Minnesota. As I mentioned, it is one of 25. So really, really nice article to potentially be looking into for that. America in the 1920s. And then we go on to a bit more of the broader 1920s, what caused the Great Depression, growth of American cities in the progressive era, and the women's suffrage and the progressive era too. So really, really awesome strategy to be looking into. And obviously, if you are a history geek like me, you will absolutely love that strategy. So I'll show you some competitors for this as well. If Ahrefs is going to play its game, come on.
It's coming slowly.
It is. Come on. It's not 5 o'clock quite yet. Okay, so we have history10.com, a DR of 26 and 14.9K worth of traffic. This is just a really generic history site worldwide, talking about loads of different types of stuff. But again, the Prohibition, America in the 1920s and stuff, really relevant to our age domain. Again, there's going to be a lot of different keywords here that aren't going to be relevant to us, but they are definitely going to be some that we can implement. lots of different stuff. I mean, for this site anyway, when did Athens merge? You know, really, really fun, interesting facts on here. But again, we can definitely take some inspiration for these keywords and change it to our age domain as well. So then this one, we have harriettubmanhome.com. This is also a house museum in America, in DR 40, and it has a bit lower traffic, but again, really good competitor to be looking at, just because there's exactly what the Bowstead House is, just obviously for another historic icon as well. So again, here, really not much going on here, but again, stuff that we can definitely look at taking on for our age domain. So really, definitely, really worth looking into. And then we have our third one, which is Concord Museum. It has a DR57 and has 4.2 k amount of traffic. This traffic is a lot lower than what I showed you within the fashion, the travel niche. You do get niches that do really range and vary in traffic, but there's really nothing to worry about.
I think it's more to do with how specific these domains are. So obviously with the Volstead, we would look to start by saturating the site with content about the Volstead Museum, but then we would expand out into other historic landmarks and attractions, whereas these, I would imagine, have just focused in on what that exact museum is, so it's going to restrict their reach.
Definitely. And as you can see here, again, a lot of focus on Concord Museum, which is obviously what the site is about. But again, lots of different interesting keywords here to take note of. But just a really, really good starting point, I think. Get a bit of a general idea, especially if you aren't really aware of the niche, the type of stuff that's going on. And like Lianne said, after we do really look into our strategy, we can then branch out into different historic landmarks and stuff all over the States and things. So really, really interesting domain. Like I said, two very, very different ones, but both really, really cool in their own ways. So yeah, and they're both available on our site if you guys wanted to check that out.
So run, don't walk to grab those.
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't think there are any other questions in the chat, so that brings us to the end of our live stream, really. It's been a pleasure chatting about all things International Women's Day and women in SEO, and very grateful for Chelsea for joining us today as well. And I don't know about you, Lois, but despite how nervous we were, that hour has actually flown.
That was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wish we could talk about women on this stream every week.
Well, next week, I think we're going to have Mark and Adam on. They haven't actually decided on a topic yet, so watch this space, see what happens.
Leaving us in suspense.
Yeah. But Lois will be back with another 2 teardowns next week as well. So please do tune in and give us some support next week. And please remember to like and subscribe. And if you can hit that bell as well, you won't miss any of our live streams. You'll get a notification every time we post something or whenever we're going live. So please do remember to do that as well. So that's us. Thank you so much for watching. And we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.